Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
On July 4th, 1962, I found myself in the lost and found of mankind. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that it wants to be there. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that the person who lost it doesn't care for that lost item.
You are writing moments that people will learn from, grow from, and heal through for thousands of years. Together, we are co-authoring a unique moment in time. That DNA, those fingerprints, they're going to be gone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But it is your story that they will tell for thousands of years. But only if you leave it. Things that do not serve you must go. The longer you wait, the more time you give them to trick you into serving them. 22 homes in foster care, everything I wore as a scar, as a shame, things that started like Velcro on my spirit. After just a few months, then years, then decades, I had believed myself into believing that they were indelible tattoos. Sometimes we have to be broken down to appreciate the view once we start getting up. I want you to leave this place and know that you have been changed. Why? How do I know it's true? Because each of you has just changed.
soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How explicit do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Oh, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
Oh, wake up, wake up, wake up. Get up. Come on now. It's time. We have been blessed. We have been blessed to see another day, And so what are you going to do with it? I'm going to let that hang out there for a minute. Start thinking about what you're going to do today that eases some suffering somewhere in the world. I'll get back to you in a minute. Find out what you've come up with. Okay, listen, welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Dr. Lauren, and I'm so happy to be back. Gone almost 2 weeks in total. We were in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Jackson Hole. I didn't ride a horse, but I did a whole bunch of things. I saw moose. I went to a ghost town, and I'm going to share a couple things. I had this hat. Thank you, Trueness Project, who I was there representing, and emceed their big attempt for the world record of most people dressed as butterflies in one place at one time to celebrate and to encourage world peace. Now, this event was also taking place simultaneously in Nepal and also in Kenya. So on 3 different places happening at the same time. Didn't get the world record, but we did start something that was recordable, okay? Which means we left an imprint on the hearts of people, on the spirits of people, therefore on the very souls of people. That's all we are called to do. So can I get an amen just to kick things off this morning? Thank you. I'll start it off. There you go. And I want to say how wonderful you look. So good morning to all of you beautiful people. Even if you're watching the replay, we feel you. So thank you for pouring into us. Rode in the parade with this hat. Actually walked it, which was fun, except note to self, if you're ever in a parade and you're walking, you cannot stop and talk to everybody like I tried to do, because then you look in the parade's way, like I had to run, so I was like, oh, hitting my inhaler. Ooh, I was like, So anyway, I was number 36. I want to keep this to remind me because it was a first. And I tell you something, people, pay attention to the things that God brings into your life when it's a first. You remember your first everything, your first apartment, your first child, your first job, first time you fell in love, all kinds of firsts. And why is it that they hold such a divine place in our journey? Because they're the only ones that sit in that seat. Everything after that, you can do it 100 times, and all of them will be the things that came after that first. That is a divine memory, if you ask me. That's what I want. I don't want a bunch of fond memories at the end of my journey. I want divine memories. I don't want a bunch of good friends. I want blessed friends. How about you, right? Think about that. Choose now, manifest now, because that way when we do what we expect, we're not surprised when we get it. See? So listen, great. Let me tell you about today. So, sometimes we always ask people for a headshot, a bio, and you never know how it's going to go, right? And Jennifer Ann is here today. And I'm going to reserve how you pronounce her last name. I think it's Elia, but I don't know. I got a feeling there's a thing to it, and we got to hear it from her so we can get it right. So she's coming in, but she does a lot of things. Funnels, those funnels. We have business people. We know this. She's a launch strategist. We're going to talk about that. But the main thing I want to talk to Miss Jennifer about today is, she's probably like, what? That ain't what I signed up for. Yes, it is, because I found it. So it means it's a part of your story, part of your journey. And I'm talking about homesteading, modern day homesteading. I went and did some research. I love it, right? It's more than just watching reruns of Little House on the Prairie. Seriously. So before we get into that, couple things real quick I wanted to share with you guys. Take a look, because I promised you yesterday I was going to show you some more pictures. Went to a ghost town. It wasn't, of course, I don't believe in ghosts. But, or do I? Anyway, the pictures, the old-timey pictures. Look, what did they have against smiling?
in every picture in that we found. They were none of them. Ooh, and look at her. Something tells me you did not want to make this woman upset. You did not want to cross her, right? But she does look like she could cook. I'll say that much. Then here's one of my other favorites. It was where all of the things were kept, and this is the real stuff. It was really built by people in the 1800s, early 1800s, even late 1700s. Very interesting. We went to the Conservatory of Art, the Wilderness Museum of Art. Oh, that's I was like that. What's that over there? Oh, I like that. This was my favorite out of hundreds. And it's called So You Want to Get Married, eh? Right. And look at them, the couple, the little cub. That's so funny. They got, yeah, just love it. I love it. And then here's one shot of when we were lining up to get ready in the parade. And then finally, take a look at this clip. Out at the ghost town, I mean, nobody for miles when you're coming out. Nothing. You better have enough gas. Then we ran into this guy.
So you're going to the New Mexico border, and you started where?
In Banff.
Wait a minute.
How many days ago?
This is day 17.
Wow. And what was the name again of that insane asylum you escaped from? I'm kidding.
Australia.
What was your name one more time?
Peter.
Peter. Thank you for sharing.
So Peter had been on the road for 17 days riding his bike, and it was windy out there, from Canada, and he was headed to New Mexico. And so we sent prayers, and we're still sending prayers. And just thank you for the encouragement to be who you want to be, do what you want to do, Peter. So that's it for our travel log for today. I hear her coming down the hallway now. And so let's get her in here so we can talk about this homesteading. If she's not wearing a bonnet, I'm just saying.
Hello.
Wait. Are those regular modern day clothes you're wearing? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And welcome to the show, Jennifer. How do you say your last name?
Elia, you're only one of the very, very few people that have ever gotten it right.
I did?
Yes, you did.
Oh my goodness. See, you guys follow your first mind. It's connected to the creator. It is. Everything after that, it comes second, and it's usually a guess. You just listen and trust. Thank you for that. I'm really excited you're here. Why don't you tell everybody, take about 60 seconds and just pour into the audience, tell them what you want them to know, and then I'm going to pop back in and we'll get started, because I'm really interested in hearing about all of the things you do, but the homesteading piece really has, maybe because I just came from Wyoming, I don't know, but one of the most wonderful vacations I've ever had in my life, and it changed me. So take it away, tell them what you'd like them to know, and I'll be right back. All you, Jennifer.
Okay. So in modern business, there's so much that needs to be done, and we get pushed in many directions. We get told we have to do all these things, and many times we're spinning our wheels and not getting anywhere. So we start buying into ideas that are supposed to make it easy, when really we need to streamline our tech and just have a strategic approach to everything. And that's where I come in, and where my heart and mission is to help small businesses get what they need so they can move forward and not get stuck in the tricks and the hacks and the charlatans that are out there waiting to prey on businesses that need help. I believe that your business should build the life that you want to live, and that you should get to invest in that life, in the lives of the people that you're meant to serve, and in the community where you want to be. And so that's why I'm so excited to be here today.
Nicely done. I got to ring the bell of purpose on that. Wonderful. Love it, Jennifer. Love it. We're going to get over to that, but first. Okay, let's clear up this thing, because that, when I saw that on your social media that you are a homesteader. How long have you been homesteading?
Officially about 4 years. There were probably about 10 years before that we were quasi homestead. You know, we were wannabe homesteaders. We were learning skills.
Homestead posers.
Well, we weren't in an area where we could actually do it, and so we were doing what we could. We couldn't raise a lot of animals. We were learning skills. We were studying. We were planning.
Because you knew the day would come.
Well, we didn't know when it would come, but we were determined to make it come.
Making up, there it is. Manifesting. Just posted something this morning, you guys, about manifesting, and here we are talking about it. Confirmation. Yeah. So let's just answer this question, you guys out there. We know that you already know the answer to this, Jennifer, but here is the actual dictionary definition of a homesteader. A modern homesteading refers to a self-sufficient lifestyle, living autonomously with minimum help from others. In a nutshell, it includes sustenance, agriculture, renewable energy sources when possible, home preservation of food, zero waste living. Is that even possible? And depending on your skills, sometimes homeschooling and craft work. That's what the dictionary has to say. Now, real quick, because I found this and I thought it was, you're going to laugh. You're going to love this, Jennifer. Trust me. Are you ready? You're going to absolutely love this. A lot of us, when we think about homesteading, this is what we think it means. And let me just get it pulled. I am not the most techie. So, okay. Let's take a look real quick.
My day starts early. I like to be out of bed long before the sun rises, usually around 3:30 a.m.
This is the life of a modern homesteader. Wait for it.
I prefer to wear old-fashioned clothes so I can really channel my inner Laura Ingalls Wilder. I just find it helps me be more efficient throughout the day. I'm Jill Winger, and this is a day in the life of a modern homestead family. While the rest of the family is still sleeping, I sneak down to the barn to start the morning chores. I find that if I avoid artificial light, the animals are much happier and the cow gives more milk. So I do as much by candlelight as possible. I milk the cow, feed the chickens, and make sure everything has food and water before I come back up to the house to start breakfast. It's important that we have a full-scale 4-course breakfast every single morning. And after many years of perfecting my routine, I'm pretty proud of the fact that I can have it done from start to finish in about 2.5 hours. Hold on just a second. You guys know I'm joking, right?
I saw your face when she said a 4-course breakfast. And then she goes, that is not how it is. So weren't you relieved when you saw that? You're like, oh my God.
Time for that kind of stuff, but
that's funny. So real quick, what does what homesteading pieces are in place in your everyday life? And then we're gonna segue into all the other things we're here for.
Okay. So we do have a very large garden. It's about a little more than 1/3 of an acre where we do raise as many vegetables as we can. We have quite a bit of livestock. I think it's around 240 animals that we're raising. Yes, for milk and meat and eggs. And some of them are for the business end of the farm to help supply things. And I do a lot of preserving and canning. I do make almost everything from scratch. Not everything. I still do buy some things from the grocery store.
Now, how many people in your family?
There's 6 of us. I have 4 children.
And how old are they? I'm trying to find out if they can do chores yet.
Oh, they do chores. Even the youngest. The youngest is 7. When we started the homestead, she was 3, but she still had chores to do. And she has her own animals that she takes care of. Only little ones, but we're teaching her. They each have their own garden section that they take care of, and so they're all learning how to can. They all know how to cook. She actually, the 7-year-old, can almost outcook me at this point.
Really?
So yes. So we focus on self-sufficiency. And once they're 2 years old, I have them frying eggs because I believe if you can fry an egg, break the egg, cook it, flip it, and get it out without destroying it, then that's like the basis of all cooking. And then we can move on to recipes and such.
Wow. And so what time does your house start moving around every morning?
I'm up between 6 and 6:30, sometimes earlier. My children, the older children, are up by 7 because they need to do chores, and then oftentimes they have work to go to. But yes, and then we are up late at night also. So there's always somebody up.
You're
I
up
usually
late at
turn in
night?
around 11:30, 12 o'clock at night.
Oh my gosh. I go to bed at 8:30 late. I do because I'm up at 4. And I
Yeah.
thought, yeah, but we all have our own. Okay, cool. So, wow. So is it everything you hoped it would be?
It is, and it is hard. It is really hard. I have to be honest. You know, they glorify it on YouTube, but it is every day. It is 40 below, raining, you have the flu, whatever it is, every day you are up and taking care of those animals. And I think that that's the beauty in it, though, because that rhythm keeps you going. You can't just wallow in bed. You have to get up. And then once you start doing it, there's so much, I don't know, there's a lot of joy in raising the animals. I was never an animal person. I was a gardener. And my son is the one that's into the animal husbandry. And so he kind of pushed us. But really, I love having the animals now. My youngest says that everybody should know that life is better with animals, period. And so, yeah, it's a lot of work, but it is great. It's just that I think everybody needs to understand that it's never ending. And then this is our life. We love it. You know, it's not something that you do and then you go on. We don't travel a lot because we have a lot of responsibility here, but we like being here. And that's the great part of it.
And what about when the kids get older and you're empty nesting? Is that when do you plan to bring on people, or how does that, or do you hope the kids just stay around and you build another house for them and their families on the property?
Well, we do have a smaller house on the property that is like a vacation rental right now. And my long-term goal is to move there and let one of the kids take over the big house, the main house. My son has always wanted to farm, and he and my other son are saving up money to buy land and start their own farm. And really, once I don't have people that I need to feed constantly, I'm not going to have 250 animals, the kids say, Mom will keep her garden, her goat, and her chickens, and that's it. Maybe my ducks, but I'm not going to have the extensive operation that we have right now.
Why do people have goats?
We have goats for meat and for milk. Mine is a milk goat. My son does more of the meat raising. I stick to eggs and milk.
Wow. Yeah. So how many freezers do you have?
3. I do a lot of canning. I mean, it's 2.5. I do an awful lot of canning.
Last question.
I just keep filling jars.
Yes. Do you have a great recipe for strawberry preserves or jam?
My 2 youngest are allergic to strawberries, so I don't preserve strawberries.
Oh no!
But I do a lot of jam, and I do more traditional jam that doesn't have the sugar in it. It's all flavored with fruit and then cooked down for a long time. And then preserved. Yes.
So, like, what's your favorite one you make?
Pineapple. It's actually the easiest, but it's the one that I just get the most joy from. I lived in France for a short time when I was a student, and my French mother would make pineapple jam for me every week, and she'd put on a baguette with like really thick butter, and so it just brings back great memories.
Wow, I've never had pineapple jam. I didn't know there was such a thing.
There is. It's delicious.
You should sell it.
We're working on that. I'm busy running a business, too, on top of everything.
Yes. Okay. So okay. Now we have a perspective, if you will, of where it is all of your divineness takes place. Okay. So, and I mean that because I believe when we're living within purpose, it is a divine place. Mm-hmm. We don't just occupy space, we occupy sacred space. Mm-hmm. Because we're doing something, because it's a part of a plan that's greater than us. And so now that you have that side out there, yes, a lot of people would think, well, how does that work, Jennifer? That you have this old-timey mindset, mm-hmm, right? Which is really a sustainability mindset. Yes. Mm-hmm. But then you are a launch strategist. You do funnels and all this stuff that is so as some people might say, and you know who I mean, worldly.
Yes.
Okay, so can we kind of talk about all that? How you've made it, you've woven it into a basket that works for you to carry your gifts to the world. Talk about that if you could.
Well, I guess I would say first that it wasn't something I set out to do. It wasn't that I said I'm going to become this high-tech launch strategist so that I can homestead. It was the way it happened. This is what the gift that God gave me to serve, and so it allowed us to live the lifestyle that we wanted, and that was really the tipping point. Once we realized this can put us wherever we want, that's what I'm going to focus on. I always wanted to be a writer. From the time I was very young. I love to write. I don't really have a lot of time to do it now, because obviously I'm a little busy. But that's what started it. I started as a professional writer. And as I kept going, I realized that the businesses I was working for, they would hire me for like one little segment, and they weren't getting traction because they were chasing the trends. Everybody said, oh, you have to have this or you have to have that.
Yes.
And it wasn't working because they were doing what the gurus were telling them to do, but it wasn't connected to anything. There wasn't an overall strategy. And so many business experts, I guess you could say, and coaches, they tell you this one thing and they act like that's what built their billion-dollar business. But behind the scenes, there's so much more going on. But if they keep you focused on this one thing, then you keep coming back and buying more stuff. And so it became a mission to figure out like, why isn't this working? How does marketing work in the 21st century? What is going wrong? Posting on Facebook 15 times a day doesn't seem to really do anything. And everybody's like, oh no, really, it's TikTok. It says, no, really, there has to be a strategy. And so I spent time interviewing business leaders and really studying what they were doing, not just what they were saying, but what they were actually doing, and realized that there's so much more to that. And then I realized that these businesses that can't afford the $50,000 or $100,000 masterminds to actually find this stuff out are the ones who need to know it so that they can get to those $50,000 masterminds and support their families and live the life that they want to live. And so that's how I got into launch strategy.
So explain, because to be honest with you, I'm shocked that I didn't even Google it. I wanted to hear it from you. But okay. So when you say launch strategy, like someone launching a business or a brand?
Launching a business is part of it, but also everything is a launch, really. When you want somebody to buy something, a new product, a sale that you're having, maybe a program that you're bringing out again, maybe it's only once a year. It's always a launch. An email sequence is a launch. Yeah, it's just leading people in a direction to do what you want them to do is really what a launch is.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a lot of people there's probably a ton of different definitions for that when you ask people what they think it is.
Yes.
So let's go. I love what you said about how the certain gurus will tell you this and this and the other. And I can't even begin. I don't even want to remember how much money I squandered, because that's the category that it inevitably fell into, on Facebook ads. And then it's going to cost this to test it and and they want to spend your money.
Yes.
$500 this month and it's the only way it's going to work is if you spend that to test. And here's the problem I always had with it, Jennifer. It was when you came to the end of the day, it all boiled down to what my message was from me in the beginning. Because even though I tried to hand it off, so it's like the baby. You can feed the baby, you can change the baby, but I'm the only one who gets to cut baby's hair. You see what I'm saying? But I come back baby bald headed. Because it didn't even sound like me. It didn't feel like me. It was not of me, and it felt inauthentic, and I would pull it. And I also, that worked once at the beginning on a particular online training program I had, where, they get it, and the modules are dripped in and all that, and it was selling. But then I found out after over 2,000 sales that only 3% were actually even watching the welcome video. And I was like, wait a minute. Why are people buying something and not doing anything with it? And I felt like, that's not what I want.
Yeah.
Just because they bought it. No, I want something that actually can do what I need it to do to fulfill my mission in this world. And so it was a very tough decision. So could you shed a little light on what I've just expressed? Because I bet you've seen it and you have a name for it. What is that thing that bothered me?
There's a large segment of the marketing world that does that. They push it. You have to have this. You have to have that. If you just put more money into it, it'll work. And really what they're selling is they know how to do this one service. To be honest, many times they don't even know how to do that one service. They just know how to sell that one service. And so they know that there's businesses that want to grow, right? And they want to reach people and they have no idea what they're doing. They know how to do this one thing. They don't know how. We're not all marketing, like I know marketing, but there's parts of business that I don't know. So I hire people to teach me how to do it.
Correct.
And it's hard because when you don't know it, then you can't make a good decision. So ads are important. They have a place, but until you have, like you said, that authentic message that really attracts people, that is what sets you apart. You need to have that attraction where people are coming and they want to hear what you have to say. They believe that you are who you say you are and that you can help them. And it's very, very, very clear of what you can do for them. And once you have that working, then you can bring ads in. To think that ads are going to make up for the fact that you don't have a clear message, you're not entirely sure who you're serving, you don't have anybody following you on social media, or that people could go and say, hey, you got to talk to this person for XYZ. It's not going to work because the ads really just augment what you're doing. And all of those other pieces need to be running smoothly. And it's really a very sad thing. It grieves me deeply when I see this, because I know that on the other side of all of these marketing agencies saying, oh, well, I'm making $20,000 a month, I'm making $50,000. That's great. But on the other side of that are businesses, and are they getting served? And that's not, I would say the vast majority, they're not. And they're paying lots of money. And yes, it's very easy to spend your ad spend. I need $2,000 of ad spend. Well, they don't care about spending that because it's not their money and they're not invested in the business. And that is my driving force when I want to give up. I think, no, there are businesses that don't know this. And I've seen too many come and meet with me because they've spent $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 in ads, which is a lot of money, especially for a brand new business.
Yeah, with no return.
With no return. The one man had 3 little kids. He had started this business to try to help his family. He spent $50,000 in ads. He didn't get a single lead. And I said, that is statistically impossible. So I went through and I looked at all this stuff and I met with him again. And I said, I have to tell you, they didn't do anything that they said they were doing. And he's like, I want to hire you, but I think my wife might leave me if I spend any more money.
Right.
So I gave him what I could to help him, in that half an hour. And it's just heartbreaking, though. So
and that is a big point right there. And I just want to stop right there and say this, because even I deal with that with people who have come from coaching programs where they've spent. I have a client now who spent $122,000 and got absolutely zero. The help he had 0 calories. There was no growth, no nutrition, no sustenance, no healing. Now, how do you work with somebody and at least there's no healing? Of all things, healing is free to all, And so don't get me started. So I want to go here though. So let's use me as an example.
Okay.
So, like, for instance, and this really happened in searching for what you were describing. And I'm a pretty good person when it comes to wordology, right? However, I feel more like, like I always show when people I work with, I use this example that this is my divine purpose. And my job is to keep it smudge proof. And not everybody can't touch all on it and this and the other. If people are really here to support me, I should feel that support from beneath, them lifting me up, right? So, but then this is me and my thing. So I had my coaching clients start doing video testimonials when they reached a plateau or a milestone in what they thought they needed or wanted when they came here. Need comes before want.
Yes.
It is a part of a plan, and want is usually a wish. So, but what I've found, Jennifer, is that I have these testimonial videos now, but because I respect the work, it's difficult for me to try to extract what I feel is good messaging from what they have said is their experience, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
It's almost like why doctors don't do surgery on their own children.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what makes me think about you finding that person where you can say, can you take these sacred testimonials? These are people's truths. This is organic feedback, actual return on investment, according to what they had as expectations. Now, how does a person like you take that, or can you, and help a person like me get what we described you need to put in front of the world for them to go, wow?
Yes. A lot of it is psychology of how people perceive and hear what you're saying, really. Many times we're saying things, and it's not that we're saying the wrong things. It's just that they're not hearing it the right way. And so that's where I come in and help, because I can take that outside perspective and pull out what really are the points that are going to make people say, wow. And many times it isn't the points that you think it's going to be. I have this own problem within my business, because I think you're so close to it and you have this vision of what it is so important about it, but it's not the same thing that your people feel as important. You're giving them that gift, but what they see and why they want it and need it is different than what you're providing, because you're looking at it from such a high level above them. So I do have people that I bring in to my business sometimes and have them look through stuff and just give me feedback, because it's very difficult for me to do it myself. I'm way too close to the work for me to be able to take that step back and that 1,000-foot view of things and say, this is what I need. And it took me a long time to do that. I have a really good friend, and I'd say, I think I need to hire someone to write my sales page. And she's like, Jennifer, you're a copywriter. You write it. And I said, but it's hard for me to do it as a copywriter, because it's not, I can't take it out and be like removed from it, and just slash out what I need and put together what it's just, everything is, it seems like I need too much in there, right? Everything is precious. Everything's important. So there is that. And I think if you're working with someone who can't take that step back and tell you, no, like, this is what's important because of this, not because it's a trend or because everyone else is doing it, but this is what they need to hear because it answers this false belief. It overcomes this objection. It hits the pain point that's keeping them stuck. I always say, people come in and I say, what is your client's pain point? And they say, oh, they're frustrated, they're overwhelmed, and they're tired, right? And then I say, no matter what you're selling, from a vacuum cleaner to a $100,000 coaching program, it all comes down to the same reasons, right? Why are they're frustrated that their vacuum isn't working, right? They're overwhelmed that their car needs to be fixed again. Those aren't pain points, but there is a pain point that gets them past that, so that they can be open to making the decision to fix what's causing that frustration. And that's the nitty gritty that you need to get down to. And there's many people aren't willing to drill down that far. They just want to chase the trends and get the clicks and, get the followers. But it's really taking people, relieving just enough pressure so that they can see, oh, this is what I'm frustrated with, and this is what I need to do. Now I can make a decision to fix it.
Is there an average time, Jennifer, or is each case completely different from the next? But is there, I guess I'm asking, is there a median or, an average amount of time that it takes for you when you're working with someone who comes in before they start seeing results? Because that seems like such an unpredictable thing.
It is an unpredictable thing. And I have had people that within a week Had someone within a week, he went from having no coaching clients for 6 months to having 2 high ticket coaching clients in a week, because he just tweaked his strategy. There's some people that it takes longer. A lot of it depends on how far they are in establishing that audience.
Yeah.
But generally, I would say 6 weeks is the minimum, because the algorithm and just people's perception and time, it takes a while to build that. It's not an overnight thing. I always say there's no such thing as a light switch solution. Really, if you are looking to launch something, you should be doing that 3 to 6 months out, planning it. Now, it's not to say that it couldn't happen in 3 weeks, but if you want for it to be effective, it does take longer. However, I know that when I can go in and change things, that within a short amount of time, 3 to 6 weeks, they do see progress. It's not what they can see in 6 months, but things do shift and they do start to get that forward motion, even if they've been working on it for 6 years and not, just been struggling along. There is a difference in getting their funnel in order and getting their messaging. So it really has that hard hitting, I don't like to do fear marketing or let's slam people over the head and feel like they have to do it. But when you really speak to their heart and really hit, like I said, that pain point that's keeping them stuck and give them a little bit of hope or a little bit of insight that they can take that next step, it is life-changing for them and it's life-changing for your business.
Love the way you put that. So what about this? How do you deal with, and I know you deal with it, I know you do, when people come and they, I just need them, they're desperate.
Yes.
Okay, they're desperate. And they're like clay putty in your hands. And then you get working with them and all of a sudden they forget that they're the ones who asked for a seat at the table with you. And they also forget who built the table. You see, because all of a sudden, because some people, they see a little progress or a little change or a semblance of tweakness, and then they think, okay, I got it from here. In other words, they got on the ark like all the other animals, but jumped off because the rain didn't start soon enough, if you know what I mean. It doesn't look like it's going to rain. I might as well get on off. Right. And so you get what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
So what would you say? Well, you probably know. I'm getting a download. I'm hearing that you already know the answer to this. It takes a certain kind of mindset. It takes a certain, it as soon as you have a discovery call with a person, how on a sliding scale of difficult to this is going to be a piece of cake because they get it. What is that thing that makes you really excited when you see it in a person and you go, oh, I want to work with them? Because I know, and I think with me, with my coaching, is when people come in and they have no idea of how they ease suffering or hope to ease suffering. And I love starting conversations with that question. So what is it you're going to do today that allows you to ease some form of suffering in the world? And one of two things usually happens, Jennifer. Either they go, which is great because now the promise is enacted. If you seek, you will find it. But then there's also those who go, oh, that's easy. And and they go right to it. So can you talk about this piece of it?
Yes.
As far as how it looks from where you sit.
I think passion is a big thing. There are people who start businesses just to make money, and there are people who start businesses because they have passion. They want to make a difference. And I think that the clients that maybe haven't made the fastest growth, but have moved along consistently and are driven to keep going are the ones that have the passion and feel that they're being called to do this. They just don't know how to bring the pieces together. And they don't realize that one of the things is that they have passion, but they don't realize the impact that passion can have. And then I start to show them that. The people who are just like, I want to make X amount of dollars in X amount of days, and I want this many Instagram followers, they're chasing the wrong thing. You know, I can't help them because they're never going to be satisfied. Like, this is what I've learned. They're never going to be satisfied because when they get 10,000 followers, they're going to want 100,000 followers. When they get 100,000, they're going to want 1 million. And it's still not going to solve that yearning because they haven't figured out what they're supposed to be doing in life other than collecting followers and making dollars. I would rather work with someone who is moving a little bit slower, but building their business piece by piece. And it's not you're making 6 figures in 60 days. I don't buy any of that marketing any longer. So I don't peddle it myself, but they are building something that is really impacting people and is going to last for a long time, and doing it the right way. And there are people that don't want to listen. They hire you. There's one client in particular. She hired me and she's like, I need an expert because this isn't working. And I told her what to do. And she's like, well, that's not how I want to do it. I want to do it this way. And so I tried to, find the middle ground for a while. And then she came back. She's like, well, none of this is working. I thought you were an expert. I said, well, you're not doing what I told you to do. And then finally I was like, you know what? This isn't working. You need to find somebody else. You want someone to just do what you want to do. But I can tell you now you're not.
That's what I said. It was what she wanted, which is a wish.
Yeah.
And it was not what she needed, which is attached to a plan.
Yes.
And patience. Patience is truly a virtue.
It is.
And you also have to leave room for what you are co-creating with. I don't care if you call it God, source, spirit, Yahweh, whatever you call it. I refer to greater than. Everything that is created to ease suffering and be of service to mankind, that is greater than me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I do it. But I think that's a big piece because, it's like this, Jennifer. You go to a person like you. That's like me turning on my car and telling it, you drive.
Yeah.
That thing where it drives itself. But I can't have a death grip on it or it feels like we're fighting each other. But I also can't lay back and take my hands off because if it's the driver, your hands aren't detected on the wheel. It's the matter of learning how to bend, because free will. And also, especially when we're doing work that does not belong to us. Yes. Work that we have been brought to this world to leave for this world. Mm-hmm. And so I think we need to talk about this before we get out of here. Where do we leave our egos, Jennifer, when we really are looking for what it is you have to offer? Where do we leave them?
At the door. The ego isn't going to get you anywhere. Business is built on egos come and go. I always say you don't want to be a one-hit wonder. Those people that show up and they're this great sensation that came out of nowhere and then like Wham. Although I am a Wham fan, so I'm not slamming them.
Me too.
But they sang like 3 songs and then they were gone. And so, we're still playing their songs, but would you rather have something that keeps going and people are still listening to, like, let's say Barry Manilow or whatever, and he has this great collection of music? Or do you want to be like, oh yeah, I remember them from such and such, and that's like song.
I wonder whatever happened to so and so.
Yes.
That kind of thing. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Happens a lot. Mm-hmm. Yes. And it's also important too. I believe this, Jennifer. You can do all these different things because this is what you do is one of the spokes that makes up the wheel. Mm-hmm. But if you're not a good steward with the spokes you already have in your wheel, doesn't matter. That wheel's not going to ride very far. Seriously, you must be a great steward, which means gratitude, being grateful, being patient, having empathy, allowing for grace. So let's talk about that. When we put what we have out to the world and we feel like it should be beckoning, well, why don't they hear it? The ring is in there. It is my truth. The truth has a ring to it. It's a siren's call. Why aren't they coming?
Yes. Because sometimes you need to be patient. And I say it's so much of a marathon instead of a sprint. And one of the things I keep telling my clients is that consistency always trumps volume. So what happens is we say, I'm going to go all in on whatever it is, email marketing, TikTok, Reels, Facebook, whatever it is that we decided is going to make the difference. And any of them can make the difference. And so you do 20 TikToks in a day and you do that for 3 days and then you completely burn out. And so you do nothing for 3 weeks. And they're like, no, I'm going to get back to it. You would be much better off doing 1 TikTok a day, every day for 3 months than to do that constant like up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's like that with everything in life, right? If we're trying to get in shape, if we're trying to save money, if we're trying to, build something, or, homesteading, especially, like there has to be consistency.
Jennifer, are you able to, and I'm again, purely selfish motives.
Okay.
Let's use me as an example.
Okay.
Would you be able to look at my work, like do an assessment and say, and when I said the work, okay, when you look at the work that I do, could you make an assessment and say, well, Lauren, Dr. Lauren, I see that you're not you shouldn't, TikTok isn't your jam. LinkedIn is, or your Facebook public figure page, or whatever the case may be, because of the demographics and whatnot, and the people that resonate with me, who my ideal client is. I have all those pieces. I know all those pieces, but and I even have like a team of people who used to work for Fiverr, and then I lured them away. 3 different ones, and they all came together and made a company, right? Yeah. All in Bangladesh, right? But I was their first client because I helped them get together. So we have a deal, boom, boom, boom. And it allows, so I have all these pieces. And then now I'm being very honest and transparent. I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, now I feel like all the pieces are ready. Because I didn't want anything to come out of the kitchen I didn't want people to go, not enough salt for my taste, or ooh, that's way too sweet. I wanted them to go, can I get some more of this?
Yes.
That.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? And I know, I think it was, for me, I feel like everything was waiting for my overflow. See, a lot of people think when they say we pour from our cup, you cannot pour from an empty cup. But it also says my cup runneth over. You see what I mean? So it's the overflow that I'm ready to give, because I don't want it to waste away. So I feel like, okay, I'm ready to take it to market for real, not just word of mouth, which is great.
Yeah.
Exclusivity and all of those good things. But let's say you and I met. How long would it take you to, what would you do? Go in and take a look and say, here's what I would like to, here's where I think I can help you, Dr. Lauren. And we could get started. I think it would take between this and this amount of time for us to get to this point. And we can always revisit it, kind of lay out as we come to the conclusion of this hour, how that would work. Because I want you to hang out for a couple minutes afterwards, because I want to get on your books to actually talk about how we can make this happen. I promise. Yeah.
So at your level, I work with 2 different levels of clients, just really quickly. The people who are growing, so back further than you, and help them get those tools to grow. And then once they have they come in and they have it all, like you, but they want to make it bigger, and they have it all online, but they want it optimized. Then what I do is I go in, I have what's called a fix my funnel in a day. I spend a few hours beforehand analyzing everything, and then we get together for about 2 to 3 hours and work on just perfecting everything in there. I do the messaging. We talk about what order things need to go in, because people generally have so much, but it isn't always in the right order that it needs to be to, again, lead people down that journey so that they make the right decision. And then focusing on, you're on these 6 different platforms, but this is the one where you're getting the most traction. So let's put more emphasis on that. Keep the other ones moving in the background, but this is how we can really leverage what's going on here and put just a little bit more time into it and get so much more out, instead of spreading yourself thin, trying to put time into all of them.
Can a person come to you, Jennifer, or a person like you, and say, okay, here's my budget. I know I need to do something, but I don't want to be awake at nights afraid because I've overextended myself or this and the other. Here's my budget. Can you do something with it?
Yes. I have packages for every budget. You don't get all of me for all of it, but you get what you need. And I price it so that business can afford it. I know there's people that are charging 3 times or 5 times as much as that I am, and giving less, but at the same time, I know that businesses that need it can't afford that right now. And I want people to be able to afford what they need to get to the next level.
Oh, you had me so caught up in this. I forgot to start the ticker tapes from going. And we have like a minute left. I was supposed to hit it at 5 till. You guys, on the screen right now is one of the two. The second is on its way. Roads to Everything Jennifer. Secret to visibilityonline.com is one. And there's also leadfunnelscale.com. Now, I will take the liberty of dropping both of those links inside your comment section here in just a moment at the conclusion of today's broadcast. It will also be available in the show notes on a lot of the other platforms in case you're watching someplace other than Facebook, okay? So what is the first step? Where do they go to get started to say, okay, I want to talk? Is it, which one of these is the best road?
If you are a business that is in the process of building or scaling, you would go to Lead Funnel Scale. That starts you off with getting your processes and your technology and everything in order. If you are already selling, but you want to move higher, you want to streamline and optimize, and not just dump money into ads, then you would go to Secret to Visibility Online. And there's ways to get in touch with me at both of them.
At both of those. Okay, again, I'm going to drop them inside your comment section here in just a moment. Jennifer, thank you so much. Hang out for just a minute or two, if you don't mind.
Thank you.
And I want to get on your books. And for you guys, listen, get out today and find a little piece of your higher self. Figure out how tonight, when you lay your head down, you know right now in this moment, you're already nice, you're already kind, you're already great. But when you go to sleep tonight, how can you say, man, look at what happened today at 4 o'clock. I am now greater. I am now nicer. I am now wiser. Look for that and put it there. Be grateful. And when you wake up tomorrow, those two letters are going to be reversed, going to be waiting for you to start the day, and you will be renewed, remembered, replenished, revived. Okay? That is flow. That is divine. Everything. Take it with you. Have the best day ever. And as always, I tell you, I love you, and there's not a doggone thing you can do about it. I'll meet you tomorrow morning, God willing, over on the front porch. We're together at 8 a.m. Central. We'll have the opportunity to share each other's stories and have another illuminating conversation. I'm Dr. Lauren. Get out of here. I'll see you. Jennifer, great job. Thank you so much. Really love the work you do. Thank you so much. Have the best day ever, you guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Side.